Hi, this is Chris of Wilson Live Sculpture, and I'm making this monumental egg. It's for a festival called Shout. My fiance and I won this commission. She's an excellent painter with acrylics, and I've been teaching her the last 3 years. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate carving of actually how I build up this relief of this hatchling duckling. So I'm going to demonstrate different hand tools and show you how you can use additive and subtractive processes. So this is the second part, where the first video I actually showed how I build it up using different Bondo and filler. And since that video, I've added more filler and I've gone back and sanded. But I have to go back and carve and get the anatomy right. So it's all about your reference material, and it's about what you want to portray with the work. And my style is fairly realistic. However, on this scale, you want to make it a little bit impressionism because you're making it so large. So this stands 6 feet tall. The egg itself is 4 feet, but it's on a metal stand. And it's for an arts festival called Shout in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that will be the first 2 weeks of April during Easter. So this is a part of the Easter Eggs on Parade. There will be other eggs as well. And each artist has a design. So my fiance and I won this commission with this little egg, which I've carved out of wood. However, the monumental egg is scaled back a little bit from this because of the size. They said I couldn't carve into the fiberglass egg itself because of structural support. Although I could have reinforced it. There is metal in there, and I know how to reinforce things. But this egg I'll show you up close. This little egg here is carved wood and painted with acrylics and oils, and I've carved into the egg. Okay, I was able to do that being wood, and it's very, very delicate. So I showed this in the first video, so I won't concentrate it that much, but I want to get the details more on the big one. And so what I do is I look at reference material, and the reference material I use is mainly photographs, and I've been finding all kinds of photographs of ducklings like this. Okay, and I want to have a lot of character with this piece, and really try to make it accurate but super large. Even cards like this, cute little ducklings. That's good reference material. And I'm going to paint this, give the illusion of more three-dimensionality. Right now it's relief. It's no larger, it doesn't come out from the surface more than an inch in any dimension. So it's still a high relief, although it's bordering on bas relief, but it's a raised relief, not carved in. But I'm going to carve the details into the piece, and again, just looking at pictures, I want to carve this little smile right here. It's called the duck smile. I also want to carve the necessitating membrane. There we go. It's up here. So it's important to know the anatomy, all these bill details, the nostril, the culmen, the bill, and ducks even have an egg tooth, which helps them break out of the eggshell. So, I want to get that anatomy right, and I'm even carving a foot at the very top. So how do I go about getting these details other than looking at photographs? Well, it comes from knowledge of waterfowl. I have friends who are waterfowl biologists, and I held an aviary migratory federal license to keep waterfowl for 10 years. So these were my pet ducks. And I had that as a teenager growing up. And so I learned quite a bit of knowledge about their reference material, about their anatomy and their color. So I had the reference material. However, if you don't have reference material, you can buy reference material like these cast bills. Okay, these are mallards. This is for taxidermy use. In other words, they put glass eyes in. So you can get reference material at taxidermy supply stores. I prefer cast bills like this, which has the eye. And it's a little sad because this bird died, and then they made a cast over the bird. But they did it before there was shrinkage, because bills will shrink over time, and feet. So they're cast from life, and this is a mallard. I think this is the female, this is the male. I'm not sure what the sex of the duckling's going to be, but it's the good luck duck, and I want it to be happy and smiling and bring good luck to all the visitors to Charlotte and the viewers of my work. The other thing you want to look at is, okay, like here's a bill. This is how a bill opens. This one's cast in lead. I don't like, this is pewter actually. I don't like working in pewter too much. It shows the insides and outs of a bill, okay, and how the different mandibles, how it closes, the nostril. Okay, you're only as good as your reference material. So study it, examine it, and have fun, because this is art. It's not science. But there is a little science too, making accurate wildlife sculptures. So I look at, like, here's a cast, not a cast, here is a actual foot of one of my ducks that passed away, and I like the pose of it. Now it's shrunk a little bit. It's not a mallard, but I'm going to use this bird kind of at this leg, kind of in this pose. So the bird, the duckling, is hatching its way out of the egg, and it has its foot above the head, and this helps. I want to magnify all this detail, super large. Okay, the little feet and the claws. I'm not going to make them that sharp. I want it to be it's an outside monument, so I want it to stand the test of time. And these are all waterproof materials. First, I demonstrated in the first video, I used Bondo, out-of-body filler. I used up pretty much almost 2 pounds of it. And then over that, I used a non-toxic filler. This is Probond Elmer's. It is an outdoor, interior-exterior wood filler, and it has real wood fibers in it. It's stainable. However, I'm going to paint this surface with acrylic paint. And I'm going to demonstrate how I use one of my favorite tools today, flex cut tools. Okay, I'm not sure how much knife carving I'm going to do, but I'm going to use some gouges that I use and scrapers like this. And so by doing this, I'm not going to breathe in the chemicals of the fillers. I have a tarp down below. It's going to catch the scraps, and so it's more sustainable that way. And all my work I try to make very sustainable. I don't prefer working in fiberglass, but this is what was given to me for this egg commission. And my fiance and I are looking forward to painting it, and that's where the true details are going to come out. But this video, I'm going to show how I carve the filler and the egg, but be careful not to go into the fiberglass itself. So let me show you some examples. I'll go ahead and get started using the gouge, and I also have this flex cut set I find very helpful with interchangeable blades. So I got a V tool, and these flex cut tools come super sharp. All you do is strop them once in a while on leather, and they do give you a rouge, like this yellow rouge. So you just rub that on the strop, okay, and then you do different sides of the gouge, trying to have it as flat as can be. So just like carving wood, carving the filler, you want sharp tools, and I am pulling, so I'm stropping these tools. I also have a machine that does this, so it does it a lot faster. However, I'm just showing you examples. If they were really dull, I would hone them on a stone. I also hone them on sandpaper on my machine, and I will show you that some other time. It's a pretty big machine I've had for years. It saves a lot of time. But stropping, this is good for your tools, and I still use it. Okay, so let me demonstrate some tool carving, and then I'll give some details. You can show how I use the tool, how I brace my arms, that kind of thing. This is a shallow gouge. This is a more cup-shaped, steeper gouge. And then finally I have V-tools. So I will get started with that and show you how I carve the eye as well as the bill and a little bit of the feet. So let me go ahead and get started. So I'll start with the bill here. Okay, wants to turn a little bit. This is where I'm separating the upper mandible from the lower mandible, okay? And it's also going to be the duck smile here. I'll show you close-ups of what I'm doing a little bit here. I also carve the nostril, the area around the nostril. I want to make this deeper. Usually I don't carve towards myself, but I'm choking up on the blade, and this egg wants to spin on its axis. Okay, it's got metal going up in it, and I've got to hold it so that it would support itself. This is very lightweight and hollow, and I don't want to. So I'm wasting a little bit of energy here. I have to have control over my tools, so whatever you're carving has to be still. In this case, it's pretty hard to hold a monumental egg this size, so pushing the gouge isn't working so well, but I can definitely pull towards me. I don't recommend this technique, okay? Usually carve away from yourself, but it's kind of like carving with a knife. And you're carving this way with the knife, okay? Like you're peeling, some vegetables. So it's kind of that way. It's very safe. That's what I'm doing with the gouge. I'm not whittling. I carve professionally and I've been properly taught, so I'm having control over the tool the entire time. To me, whittling is when you carve and you don't have control. You're going like this. Now I can try a little bit with my fingers behind it. I want to raise this part of it up. So I'm just demonstrating different techniques that I've learned over the years. But really, I'll use a gouge because I'll be able to get more of that contours I want. And you can see most of it's been built up with wood filler. So some of that light bluish gray comes through. Definitely catching some filler there. I'll show you details momentarily, but I just want to get all this detail in here. Okay, and focusing on the eye, I want to make it as round as I can with the limited space I have. So I'm taking the shallow gouge. Let me get a close-up of it here. So you can see right over my shoulder here. Okay, it's a very shallow gouge. It's one of my favorite flux cut tools. And I am just going to round the eyes. There's going to be an eyelid. Ducks have actually a couple eyelids. They can blink from, they blink from the bottom up, unlike us. Okay, and they also have a necessitating eyelid. That's it's a membrane. So they actually have 3 eyelids. And this membrane is over here. I'm going to carve it in place. But I need to make this a little bit rounder. What I'll probably do with the eye, make an eyelid, I'll use an epoxy putty. Okay, I'm using this epoxy sculpt, and I'll demonstrate that in another video, but the eye is the most important part of it. Okay, so I'm going to add a lot of character. I'm going to make an eyelid out of that. I may use it for some of the feet details. Okay, I have a lot of feet pictured in there. Let's go back to this tool. This is interchangeable, the Flux Cut tool. It's got interchangeable hand pieces. And this is the deluxe carving set, which I originally showed you. It comes with lots of different tips. It's a great value for its money, and they're all super sharp. So let's carve the necessitating membrane in the eye here. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see my techniques here. So I'm bracing my hand here, and I'm putting this thumb behind it as well as this thumb. This is how I get super control over my work. I have to kind of hold the piece because it wants to rotate. So that's why I have this hand here. It also helps to control though. And now I'm pushing away from myself, which is much safer. Although I gotta do a stop cut here. Okay, I can't make it very deep because I don't want to go into the fiberglass itself. It's very thin. I don't actually know how thick it is, but it is cast, and I'm not allowed to go into the fiberglass itself. So that is kind of a bummer because I really want to make it three-dimensional, and that way it would have confined space like my model has, but they're not letting me do that. So that's fine. It's a public monument and there's got to be safety concerns. Some areas the filler carves well, in other areas it doesn't carve as well. The Bondo doesn't carve that well, really, I'm finding out. But at least I'm catching the pieces which I can properly dispose of, and I'm not creating a lot of dust, harmful dust for the environment. Again, I like doing natural materials like wood, but this is an outdoor sculpture commission, and my fiancé and I are happy to make it. Okay, you can start to see the third eyelid there in this corner. Okay, I also want, there's a groove here, and I want the roundness of the head. Okay, so I accentuate that roundness. I can carve this a little bit more. Also have some voids. I was able to get the texture of the bird somewhat with the Bondo throughout, like kind of down, because I don't have feathers yet, and it's very rough. I'm gonna go back and add more impasto-like texture with paint by stippling it. But let's go back with the gouge here and show you how up close, how I make some more contours. Emphasize that three-dimensionality. You want it round. There's no flat part of a bird. Now I'm losing some of the texture I have because I'm carving it, but I am going to go back and use modeling paste and gesso where I can stipple the texture like painters do. And that creates impasto-like texture. And that's a raised, it means Italian, it means raised texture. Okay, so that's working better. And now let's go back to, let's see, this is a nice V shape here. I mean, it's going to be, I'll show you. I want to create the illusion, let me show here. I want to create this, this little area here, okay? And so what I'm doing is I'm always drawing first. I draw here so that I know where I'm putting it in. And I stand back and look at it because this is a very large piece and see how it looks. This whole head of the duckling is like 2 feet long. Nice, I actually can rotate, it's coming to advantage now. Okay, here I'm demonstrating a proper technique where I'm pushing the gouge, much safer. I'm holding it up here, which is fine. I will round that a little bit, probably with sandpaper, but I want to emphasize the details and make them a little bit dark with paint. So, okay, there's also another groove here. Just looking at the anatomy of the bill. So it really helps to study that anatomy so you can get these details. And I was taught by a professional duck carver back in the 1980s. who really showed me how to take caliper measurements of the bill. And I could take those measurements, but I'm making a duckling. You really can't get cast bills of ducklings, and it's not that scientific anyway. I'm making art, and I'm trying to convey emotion with the viewer. Here I'm separating the two mandibles. When I carve the top filler, it's easy, but when I carve the bondo, it's much harder. Let's see here. Okay, so I've separated more. I got to clean it up. I'll probably use like a file or something so I get that line nice and straight. And I'm not sure about carving the little grooves here. This is from older birds, and they're, the bills get wrinkles just like humans do. Duckling, however, is not going to have many wrinkles, but I may add some things for character. I'm going to work up, let's see, right here with the duck smile. You can see it in this picture, in this model right here. Also, I showed it in a photograph starting out. So I'm going to dig into the filler a little bit. Filler carves are a little different than wood, but same principle of subtractive method. And I've made a mess of my wood chip, my filler chips. Okay, so this area, I'm going to raise this up a little bit. I could do this with filler, but I am going to just try to carve it in as much as I can. Again, that epoxy filler is great for going back and doing details. If you need to make a nostril, make the duck smile, as well as an necessitating membrane. And the eyelids. Let's switch to the feet up here. Back up a little bit here. You can see the whole thing. This came out really nice over here, this texture. I like this. But this here, doing the texture this big, it's going to be a little bit impressionistic. And I think that I want to put all the detail I can in there. So I'm just using the V tool, and I'm going to go over each scale of the foot. I may need to add more material. I went with a very impressionistic texture when I first applied it, but now I'm going back and trying to make more details. I'm getting dangerously close to the egg itself. Actually, there's a purple tone there, which this has been painted before by another artist, and it's been primed with Kills primer. And then I primed it as well after that, because I've sanded and primed, so it was a nice smooth finish. I got the egg a really tactile, smooth finish, so it's going to really be nice and tactile to the peel. And I had to add some filler before I did that, and sand between coats of paint. And that's how you get a real smooth finish, like you do in the bill. So stay tuned to see how I do that kind of detail with paint. And my fiance and I are going to paint it. And we're running out of time because it's due at the end of this month. But I am happy to get this commission and thank the City of Charlotte and the Shout Arts Festival. So if you like the video, please hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate your support. My channel's really taken off here, and I like to share my work and teach others and inspire you to create. Okay, filler's not carving that great, but I'll have to sharpen the tool a little bit more. I'll show you some close-ups of the piece here. Okay, and I can sand some of those details out a little bit. And let's go back and see the whole thing. You can see my messy garage. I'm working here. Now you can see the whole thing. So this is the good luck duck. Thanks a lot for following me. Stay tuned to the next video where you can see it all finished, or maybe I'll show you how I do some of those details, adding the eyelid and making everything look very realistic. Thanks a lot for your support and following me in my YouTube channel. Have a great day.